Hello, friends. I'm back with a new fresh topic: risks of AI washing, growing regulatory scrutiny on technology companies, and the role of technology leaders. So, before we begin our talk, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Garima Bajpai, founder for the DevOps community of practice here in Canada, which has several chapters: Ottawa, Edmonton, Atlantic provinces, Montreal. If you're around and you're curious to join one of our chapters, you're most welcome. Let's get going and start with what AI washing is and why are we talking about it today. With growing interest in AI-powered businesses, organizations are capitalizing on AI by establishing partnerships, setting programs, attracting investors, and much more. The window of competitive advantage is shortening with every new technology advancement, and organizations are orchestrating the AI future with the fear to be sidelined. What happens in this context is AI washing is when an organization indulges in false, misleading, or overhype the claim about use of AI in its products or services with the intention to capitalize on the hype around the technology. And why is it bad? It erodes trust in AI and related technology, for example. It also creates challenges for investors who wants to allocate funds to genuinely innovative programs or projects. It also inflates expectation and unrealistic goals in an organization and the fear of missing out in employees. And lastly, used to hype the perceived value of eventually jacking up the share prices. So, how do we overcome the risk of AI washing and build more trust with AI capability within the AI ecosystem? Gary Gensler, chair of Security and Exchange Commission, warned in February 2024 at a speech at Yale University that some companies were engaging in AI washing, which can break US security laws. Following that, two investment firms were ordered to pay 400K USD in fine by the US Security and Exchange Commission for exchanging in practice dubbed AI washing. What happened was Delphia, the first company, was fined falsely, claiming to predict which companies and trends are about to make it big and invest in them before everyone else. Another company, Global Prediction, on the other hand, called itself the first AI regulated financial advisor and said its platform is made AI driven forecast. The full statement can be read on the SEC website, and the link is on the slide. So, what can we do to de risk such false marketing? And how do we, as technology leaders, play a vital role in this? Obviously, the first aspect is, which comes to our mind, is auditing. So, auditing refers to a range of approaches to review algorithm processing systems. For example, it takes different forms from checking governance documentation to testing an algorithm's output or investigating its inner working. Why is the audit being done or conducted is also an important question. The objective of an audit can broadly be based on to confirm compliance, for example, with requirements set by, let's say, human rights standards or sector specific regulations or particularly measures of fairness. It's also important to understand who is conducting this audit. There can be various bodies like self-appointed self-audits within the organization, independent audits, government audits, which have different features and sources of legitimacy. So no one uh, thing will fix it all. So we need all the parties or all the stakeholders to come together to do a fair evaluation of the AI capabilities and AI ecosystem. And what is being done in the audit is also an important question. So we will demystify some of these areas in the next few slides. But before I move forward, as it is already getting overwhelming, I would like to recap my own journey. Creating these talks on emerging technologies is interesting yet overwhelming. It requires exceptional level of dedication and focus. Thankfully, I found Magic Mind, which is a mental performance short. It complements my healthy daily routine. I like to take it in the afternoon as routine booster, and it helps me navigate afternoon crash, decrease my stress level. One shot of Magic Mind daily gets me focused, mentally clear, and motivated and productive while reducing stress. Magic Minds also donates 5 cents for each bottle sold to mental health charities that help US homeless communities. They are 100% carbon neutral and can be shipped internationally over 65 countries. And we have a good news today. We have a limited offer for you to use that gets you up to 48% off for your first subscription or 20% off on one-time purchases with the code LEVECAST20, LEEVECAST 20 at checkout. You can find the link to buy this discount coupon in the description box, and you can also claim it on the website https www.magicmind.com/levicast. So let's now focus on the topic, AI washing and the role of technology leaders. So what as technology leaders we could do to enhance the trust and de-risk the AI products and services ecosystem. So the first point would be governance. To establish a cross-functional team that must supervise across the enterprises for full AI lifecycle. And I will talk about governance in more detail in my next slide. Another aspect is explainability and interoperability, which is when even when AI does its work behind the scene, you should be able to lift the hood and see what's going on, which is basically explaining the black box processing of AI and how it is doing that processing. Another aspect is ethics and regulation. It is not enough to obey the law, especially since many laws are still evolving. AI must align both with corporate principles and wider ethical issues. And we will talk more about it as well in the next slides. Bias and fairness. It's critical to have controls to spot bias and procedures to fix it fast. And lastly, robustness and security. You want to monitor not just for cyber threats, but also how AI can naturally degrade or become less accurate as its data or models age. So that's another factor to be considered. So let's get back to governance. Governance considerations to unlock the potential of AI and de-risk AI washing in the context would be, first of all, establishing a multidisciplinary governing body, considering establishing an oversight body with representatives from a range of different areas, like security professionals, data scientists, regulatory and compliance people, and so on and so forth. A strong central reference guide or a playbook which will help to frame collaboration, support negotiations between stakeholders on trade-offs between what they would like to accomplish and tolerable level of risk. If different AI models are built from the same data set, can you imagine what would be the problem? Obviously, the data has problems such as inherent bias. Its risk area will be significantly magnified. So AI plans should therefore start with a clear picture of where the data has to come from. Now let's talk about explainability and interoperability. Explainability is the extent to which the internal mechanism of a machine or a deep learning system can be explained in human terms. Whereas interpretability has been defined as the extent to which a cause and effect can be observed within a system. For example, changing a value or an output of a feature, how it affects your model. And why are we talking about these factors is we also want to ensure that does machine learning solve the problem better than anything else? So explainable in artificial intelligence, a field that is concerned with the development of new methods that explain and interpret machine learning models. And this field is kind of having a growing interest with number of, technology professionals, data scientists looking at it. Evaluation methods for interoperability are also different, like application grounded, human grounded, and functionality grounded or functionally grounded. There are different purposes of evaluation, like explaining black box complex models, for example, enhancing fairness of the model, test sensitivity, etc., etc. So, as a technology professional, as a leader, it's important that we understand these factors. More towards explainable in artificial intelligence, the central challenge is that many of the AI applications using ML operate within black box. Large language models, for example, LLMs, are based on deep learning and they also operate in black box manner. Most explainable artificial intelligence vendors, for example, present different explanation interfaces to clarify complex AI models. Some examples of these vendors are like Google Cloud Platform. Google's Cloud Explainable Artificial Intelligence Platform uses ML models, your ML models, to score each factor to see how each of them contributes to the final result of the prediction. Flowcast, this is an API-based solution, aims to unveil black box models by being integrated into different company systems. Fielder AI, this US startup provides users with different charts to explain AI models. So there are various methods and tools and techniques you can use to make your artificial intelligence ecosystem more explainable. And it's good to have a look at these tools and applications. Moving on, we have talked about bias and fairness. And what is the role of a technology leader here? It's critical to have controls to spot bias and procedures to fix it fast, as we discussed earlier. For example, image recognition software is a great example of how bias can lead to bigger problems. It has been well documented that certain facial features, for example, in softwares, have trouble recognizing people who aren't white. Machine learning AI programs learn from data sets, both in training and subsequent testing. If the data sets are made by data scientists from homogeneous backgrounds, or computer end up taking on their unconscious biases, be they racial, culture, gender, and others. Laws are different from different city to state to nation, and they change as society moral compass shift. So it is important to keep track of, how you regulate bias and inculcate fairness into your AI ecosystem at an enterprise level at scale. Now we'll talk about ethics and regulations. So ethics and regulations is about making right or good choices. Ethics refers to principles and practices which can guide us in the decision-making process. The ethical process can help us plan, adopt, and improve onboarding of quantum ecosystem in a systematic way, for example. And also it helps in navigating the ethical dilemma and the uncertainty. So obviously all these emerging technologies like AI combined with quantum, for example, would be very, very challenging if ethical regulations and guidelines are not in place. In 2023, there was the Biden administration released an executive order on safe, secure, and trustworthy AI, and the European Union came close to passing its first comprehensive AI Act. There is another blueprint of an AI Bill of Rights, which is in making. Executive order directing agencies to combat algorithmic discrimination. All these are examples of, how regulatory bodies are stepping up to ensure that they regulate the use of AI in a more ethical way, promote fairness, open and competitive AI ecosystem, and ensuring responsible and effective governance use of AI. Now, role of technology leaders is also to secure and build robust artificial intelligence products and services. So what it means is that if your AI service or product will perform as intended at all times, and is it safe? So answering these two questions, for example, The scope of AI manipulation is just as concerning as oversensitivity. For instance, opportunists or criminals would exploit susceptibilities in the system, working out the rules of play. Now, how do we approach uh, this governance structure in a pragmatic way? The balancing of effort into securing AI initiatives while building momentum into AI innovation, collaborating with security experts early and often in a development process. How to protect against AI vulnerabilities, specific threats for AI environment like model invasion, data poisoning, functional extraction, advanced capabilities like malicious cousins of ChatGPT, which is Warm GPT. If you have not heard about it, please research it a little bit. Integrating evolving regulatory requirements, ensuring responsible use of third-party applications and mandating partners to use responsible AI, and creating and evolving AI security processes and policies aligned with existing and upcoming regulations. Also, workforce. How do we ensure our workforce is ready for this challenge? The role of technology leaders is also equipping its workforce with necessary skills to successfully navigate AI transformation. A recent IBM study around AI in the workplace found 87% of business leaders expect at least a quarter of their workforce will need to reskill in response to generative AI and automation. Organizations are also responsible for helping employees to upskill and reskill to adapt to changing ecosystem. So, what can be the next generation operating model and what are the new roles which you can see as a technology leader? So, starting from Chief Trust Officer, with great power, great comes great responsibility. AI leaders must navigate the ethical implications of AI implementations, ensuring fairness, transparency, accountability in decision-making process. And that's the role of a Chief Trust Officer. Chief AI Officer, responsible for aligning AI strategies with organization goals, identifying opportunities, managing risks, and ensuring ethical AI practices. Head of AI or machine learning, responsible for overseeing the development and implementation of machine learning strategies within an organization. AI transformation lead plays a critical role in shaping and executing the AI strategy, leveraging the latest advancement in machine learning and artificial intelligence to transform processes. Now, the question is, what are the skills required for AI leadership roles? AI leadership roles demands a combination of technical expertise, strategic vision, and ethical considerations. Technical literacy over cloud, data, AI, and security is required to capitalize on this technology revolution. Leaders will be challenged by the fast pace of innovation, new tools, and applications, and it is important to gain clear understanding of technology choices and ways to adopt. Leaders also need deep understanding about ethical practices, which requires more collaboration inside and outside organization boundaries. So, concluding this talk for today, leadership in the age of AI is critical. Leaders play an important instrumental role in creating effective AI governance strategies built upon the various pillars discussed in this talk. It is equally vital to establish an AI ethics and necessitate a certain level of ethical compliance. With that, I would like to end my talk here, but do remember to check out Magic Mind, the mental performance shot, which complements your health and daily routine. Thank you very much.